Ladies and gentlemen, live from Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977 is Wednesday or Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for AEW Dynamite or Collision Event Center. And now here's the man that will bring you the happenings of AEW All Elite Wrestling action, Mr. Eric M. Lima. Thank you much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima's Shenanigans in 1977, episode 2543 of the channel. How's it going, everybody? Hope you guys are having a wonderful, blessed day. I had a wonderful, blessed day. We're going to talk about what happened on AEW Dynamite, aka September to Remember. That's right. Going from the 2300 Arena in Philly now to Canada, London, Ontario, Canada. Home of some of the greatest Canadian people that live in Canada, like Renee Paquette, like Trish Stratus, even though she's not an AEW lady, like Edge and Christian, a.k.a. Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. Mike Bailey lives in Canada. Some of the best Canadian wrestlers live in Canada. Bret the Hitman Hart, Natty Neidhart. The list goes on and on, ladies and gentlemen. So, they're getting ready for All Out in Toronto, Canada. Toronto, home of possibly the AL East champs in Toronto, Blue Jays. Tony Schiavone decided was going to interview Hangman Adam Page, but there was a contract signing for the championship, and Hangman Adam Page and Kyle Fletcher came out and looked over the contract. There's now another stipulation. If any member of the Don Callis family interferes in this matchup, gets involved, then Kyle Fletcher will be disqualified and be stripped of the TNT title. So you think about that. If any member of Don Callis family goofs up, screws everything up, hey, Kyle Fletcher loses that TNT title. So even though it's champion versus champion, only Hangman Adam Page's title is on the line. Then Jon Moxley addresses Darby Allin and his climbing of Mount Everest, and a little bit of and Darby Allin's got a body bag with Mox's name on it. So that. And Roderick Strong went one-on-one with Jon Moxley. Daniel Garcia gets involved in the matchup. Kyle O'Reilly fights him off, but distracted Roderick Strong. Moxley ends up picking up the victory. And then MJF addresses Mark Briscoe, and he's ticked off at Tony Khan. And, Tony Khan argues back and says, you know what? It's on you because you have another Briscoe in the ground. And I'm going, oh boy, what is MJF thinking? You thinking that MJF being a newly married husband would change him? No. He still acts like the same Beavis-looking butthead on the planet. Alicia, too, I salute you for marrying him. Best of luck to you, too. So Bobby Lashley went one-on-one with Tola Leona. This was a heck of a matchup between two big men. As you know, in the trios matchup, it will be the Hurt Syndicate versus Ricochet in the GOA, Gates of Agony. And after Bobby Lashley won the match with the Hurt Lock, but after Ricochet and Bishop Khan got involved, and Shelton Benjamin and MVP fought them off. Then there was a face-to-face confrontation between Christian Cage and Adam Copeland versus FTR. Both teams talked a little bit of smack, and it seems like Stokely Hathaway's big mouth was trying to rile somebody up, and then all of a sudden, Christian Cage is talking about $100,000 fine or something like that. Christian Cage and starts throwing the first punch at Dax Harwood. Both teams went at it. Referees and security tried to separate these two, and Dax Harwood ended up with a bloody nose. I don't know if that will play a factor coming in this coming Saturday, but one thing's for sure: if Stokely Hathaway steps in the ring again, has to step in the ring again, can't wait to see his butt a love child of Charles Barkley and Kevin Hart, his butt kicked. Renee Paquette interviewing the Young Bucks, and they said they they're going to face the Bang Bang Gang and try to be the first ever 4-time AEW Tag Team Champions. And we're such in a good mood, though. One of the Young Bucks gave her $10,000. Go buy yourself something pretty. If the Young Bucks give me $10,000, you know what I would do? It's simple. I'll pay some of that off with the rest of my car insurance. And then what I'm going to do is spend some of it on Amazon and or eBay. That's what I would do. And that'll be a lot of fun. Get some food and stock up on groceries, man. That'll be me. But then you get the promo by the 8 ladies for the tailgate brawl in Toronto in the 0 hour, so to speak. On one team, you got the Triangle of Madness, Julia Hart, Sky Blue, teaming up with Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford against Queen Aminata, Willow Nightingale, who's starting to be one of my favorites, and definitely 2 of my favorites. The interim Ring of Honor Women's Television Champ, the lovely Mina Shirakawa, and the lovely, talented, and funny, and beautiful, and gorgeous, and sexy, Harley Cameron. And there is going to be a war between those 8 ladies. Let the fur fly on that one. Anyways, before then, it was the Bang Bang Gang versus the Young Bucks. The Bang Bang Gang, Juice Robinson, a.k.a. Mr. Tony Storm, at this rate, and Austin Gunn. And the Bucks ended up picking up the victory, despite the fact they tried to bribe the referee, Rick Knox, but he said no. But they did win the match, though. Then the Unified Title qualifier in the final spot for the Triple Threat match for the Unified Title. Mascara Dorada, formerly known as Grand Metalik, went up against the Beast Mortos. Dorada ended up winning the matchup, which prompted the 2 Japanese members of the Don Callis family to come out. Konosuke Okada, the Unified Champ, and Konosuke Takeshita. It seems like these 2, and they both confront Dorada after the matchup. And then the spotlight was on the lovely, the gorgeous, the curvaceous, babylicious, timeless Toni Storm as she addresses the London, Ontario, Canada crowd, and addresses the 3 ladies that were going to be in this fatal 4-way matchup that she's defending her women's world title against. Jamie Hayter was the first one to speak up and interrupted the timeless one. Chris Statlander gets into Jamie Hayter's face. Then Tekla comes out and has her no-holds-barred match against Queen Aminata. These 2 ladies went at it. And these 2 ladies went at it. Tekla ends up winning the matchup. And then after the match, she calls out Toni Storm. Toni Storm comes out, fights Tekla. And then Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander brawl. Hayter and Storm go at it. And, Jamie Hayter, remember, she has that history when Storm was an outcast at the time with Saraya and Ruby Soho. Saraya has since left AEW, and Ruby Soho, well, she's with Child now. Then Julia Hart and Sky Blue jumped on Storm, and that's when Hayter came in, and then Hayter and Storm went at it again. Alicia, too, interviewed Skyflight, and Hangman Page interrupts them and says, hey, you better watch out for the Don Callis family. I already had to deal with them. And Christopher Daniels, I understand. We got it. And then the tag team title ladder qualifier, who will join the Young Bucks and Brodito. Jet Speed versus Kill Switch and Kip Sabian. And Kip Sabian keeps on berating Kill Switch to the point where Kill Switch finally has had enough. And when Kip Sabian went to go to tag, Kill Switch jumps down from the apron. But then again, Kip Sabian slapped Kill Switch on the apron, and that acted as a tag. Bryce Remsburg made the right call. Kip Sabian's dumb decision cost them the chance to win the tag team titles as Jet Speed wins the matchup. Big Bill addresses Eddie Kingston as they go one-on-one. And then Bryan Danielson sit down and interview with Darby Allin, and they were addressing Jon Moxley and such. Mercedes Moné was sitting at ringside to join on commentary for Riho's match against Robin Renegade. And Riho ended up winning the matchup. Moné confronts Riho and attacks her from behind, laying her out. Daniel Garcia addresses Katsuyori Shibata as another match added to the card of All Out as Daniel Garcia goes one-on-one with Katsuyori Shibata. And then the main event was the final tag title ladder qualifier, Top Flight, versus Cesaro and Josh Alexander. John Callis joined on commentary. And then what the heck did I wrote here? Oh. And then Alexander Cesaro won the matchup, and then Lance Archer and Rocky Romero attack after the matchup. Scorpio Sky and Jet Speed got involved in the fight. Young Bucks jump in there. Brodito gets involved. Christopher Daniels is attacked. And then as they were about to hurt Christopher Daniels, Hangman Adam Page fights them off. And then Kyle Fletcher blindsides Hangman Adam Page. So that's that for the September to Remember AEW Dynamite Event Center. So we're going to go to the picks and predictions here for All Out this coming Saturday afternoon at 3. So I got to make sure I get something good to eat there. So here we go. The 8 women's tailgate matchup, like I said. Mina Shirakawa, Harley Cameron, Will Nightingale, and Queen Aminata. Face the Triangle Madness team of Sky Blue, Julia Hart, Megan Bayne, and Penelope Ford. I picked Mina, Harley, Willow, and Aminata over the 3 ladies. And then you got Christian Cage and Adam Copeland versus FTR. Christian Cage is going to win that matchup. The Hurt Syndicate versus Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. I picked Hurt Syndicate to win that matchup. TBS title on the line, Mercedes Moné versus Riho. It's about time that Riho shows Mercedes Moné why she was the first AEW Women's World Champion. Riho is going to win that one and win the title. Coffin match, Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley. I picked Allin to win that one. And Tables and Thumbtacks match, Mark Briscoe versus MJF. I picked Briscoe to win that one. AEW Women's title on the line in a fatal 4-way timeless. Toni Storm defends against Chris Statlander, Jamie Hayter, and Tekla. I think Storm's going to win it. And then the world title on the line, Hangman and Page versus Kyle Fletcher. Page is going to win it. Unified title on the line at 303, right? Kazuchika Okada defends against Konosuke Takeshita and Mascara Dorada. I picked Takeshita to win that one. Eddie Kingston versus Big Bill. Kingston's going to win that one. And the Fatal 4-Way ladder match. Brodito defends against the Young Bucks, Jet Speed, and members of the Don Callis, and Hechicero and Josh Alexander. I picked Brodito to retain the titles. And that is all the time that I have on this show for today. Tomorrow, we're going to play some Pressure Luck. Remember, friendly reminder, no rant and rave tomorrow, but I will advertise rant and rave. No, I was not going to advertise rant and rave. I do it for Bofas and Sofas. I'm sorry. So, that's all the time we have. Thank you for tuning in. Until next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and do it for Bob Saget production and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.